Welcome back to Bimbo Call, hosted by me, lowrirose. Today I decided to hold my microphone because I just feel like that's more aesthetic, but now I don't know if I'm too loud. I might just be penetrating your eardrums a bit too much, but we just gotta try it out. Like, I feel like this is kind of about... Excuse me? Oh my god, not my extensions. I made the executive decision to banish the cat because she is actually the most devilish amongst my animals, and I just cannot deal with that headache for this hour, and neither can you, actually. We do have the Poog. She was on my lap, but she just dove off when the cat was being chaotic, but she is in the room, she's chilling, she's sleeping under the desk there, so she has the chill vibes. The cat has no chill. I don't know if anyone else has a cat, but like, can you let me know if your cat is actually mental, because she just never stops. Like, she is only one. She's just a little baby, but she is so badly behaved. Like, she's constantly parkouring off everything. She has zoomies all the time, especially when it's like the middle of the night. But she's always ruining things. She's always picking my clothes. Like, she's always destroying the walls. There's just no chill with this cat. Also, before we get into the video, I want to shout out my jumper that I'm wearing because I feel gorgeous. And currently, Hollister is my favorite place to shop. So if you're a gorgeous, gorgeous girl, I'm plugging you right now. Go to Hollister. They have updated their swag since 2012. And when I tell you, they have so many nice clothes in there. God, I never thought I'd make a comeback to Hollister, but here we are. I'm constantly in there spending all of my money. It's not even that expensive. This was £29, and I know I will wear this so much. But I think £29 for a jumper is pretty decent, like, pricing. I also have hair bows in that were... I think Christmas presents that I wrapped with this hair bow for Ethan, and I have now taken it back and used it for my hair. So she is a recycling queen, saving the environment one hair bow at a time. Today's episode is going to be signs that you're dating a loser, a bimbo guide on whether you should dump that man. In the past, I feel I have been victimized by men, but that is because I feel like I have gone for the wrong men and I have stayed with the wrong men for way too long. So if you've experienced what I've experienced, then you will completely understand what I'm talking about. This is just a guide to, like, kind of fix your type and break up with whoever is not filling up your cup and just humbling a baddie. We don't want to see that. First rule and reason why you should dump that man is because he doesn't take you on dates. Now, that should be a red flag. You shouldn't be getting with someone if they haven't already taken you on some date. I know some girls, they will be like, oh yeah, we just went over each other's places and then we got together. It's like, so he never, like, tried to date you once? That doesn't seem like that's going to work out in the future. By the way, these rules don't apply to everyone. Everyone is different. But I think if you're looking for a man who is gonna, like, take care of you, spoil you, take you on dates, treat you like how you deserve to be treated, in my opinion, these are my rules. So take it as you will, and maybe you want to hear this right now, but maybe you need to hear this right now, to be honest. If he doesn't take you on dates, then, like, why isn't he trying to date you? Does he not think you're worth dating? Like, I think no matter how long you are into your relationship, you need to be actively dating that person. Like, my boyfriend has always planned all of our dates. He always pays for our dates. Now, that's not a requirement. I'm not claiming that to be a requirement. I know some people like to go, like, split the bill 50-50, or, you know, I'll get it this time, you get it the next time, but me personally, like, I like a man to take me on a date, plan the date, and pay for the date. Like, I do occasionally take my man on dates and pay for dates as well, but on the most part, like, he is paying for the dates. And he likes that, I like that. I feel like I'm being, like, spoiled. It's like a gift to me. And I just, yeah, I do all the cooking in the house, but he gets to take me on dinner dates. So I think it's a sweet little deal. If he's never suggested to take you on a date, like, what do you think is going to happen in, like, 5 years? Like, you are just going to be miserable and feel like you're not being, like, spoiled and taken care of. It is a huge red flag if he's not taking you on a date. And if you're in a relationship and he doesn't take you on a date, then why are you with him? Like, where is the point in that? If you feel like you're always suggesting the dates and he's, like, never suggested them, like, he is just lazy. Like, he doesn't care to romance you. And I think some people, like, they're not romantic people, so it's fine. But, like, I'm a very romantic person, and I think a lot of girls are. So I think it's important that, like, your man wants to romance you. Imagine I'm, like, actually way too loud. Hello. Should we do some ASMR? I'm gonna put you into a trance of dumping that man who is a bum. Period. Or if he thinks dates are stupid when you've been together for a while, like, romance is forever, okay? That's why people get divorced. I feel like so many people get divorced because they get lazy, and, like, I never want to be in that position. Like, I'm always going to be going on dates with my man. I'm always going to be treating him with respect, and I want to have, like, I love when he compliments me, I compliment him, we do things for each other. Like, we have very good, clear communication. We never fall out because we have good, clear communication. And if I voice, like, a concern, he listens to me. So it's like, these things are important. And, like, what do you expect is going to happen in, like, years to come if he's not making the effort to, like, take you on a date? So realize that fast, girl. You don't want to be trapped in a relationship where they're not taking you on dates, because I have definitely in the past got in relationships when they haven't taken me on one date. Like, what do you mean? Like, Jesus, the bar was in hell. The bar was quite literally in hell. So how am I going to apply lip gloss and hold this at the same time? She is a multitasking queen. Rule number 2, why you should dump that man, is because he doesn't buy you flowers because they die. Okay, this might seem like an attack on some of my friends' exes, and I mean, if the shoe fits, honey bunny, you know what also dies? Us. We die. We quite literally die, and it doesn't mean that we're gonna live an unfulfilled life. Like, I just think people that view flowers as, like, pointless when it's only pointless to the person, and it clearly means something to the other person. So, like, why don't you just do it? Like, flowers are like £5. If they die, they die. Buy her a plant. I don't know, anything. I think girls like having flowers bought for them, and they like I said, like, girls want to be romanced. So if you think it's stupid but she thinks it's important, then why don't you ever compromise and buy them, like, every now and then? Like, I just don't get it. Like, I've seen my friends, and I've also dated people where they've, like, never bought me flowers, or my friends, they'd, like, refuse and think it's stupid and, like, make them feel stupid for even wanting flowers. And it's like, girls like flowers. My God, like, what happened to romance? What happened to chivalry? Like, what happened to men? Like, I just think it's just so important to romance your woman. And, like, if that's important to her, that's important to her. Just buy the freaking flowers. I just don't get it. Like, nothing is forever, but, like, feeling loved is important. So, like, that feeling of, like, oh my God, I can't believe he thought to buy me flowers. It's such a small gesture, but it goes such a long way. Let me tell you, my vase downstairs is never empty. If anything, Ethan buys me so many flowers that I don't have enough place to put them. And sometimes they're in the sink because they need water and I have too many flowers. Like, that man is always buying me flowers. And on our first date, Ethan bought me flowers. And he turned up to our first date, stood outside the restaurant with flowers. And that's how I knew that I wanted to be with him, because that is such a beautiful gesture of love and romance. And who wouldn't want that? Like, let's bring back the olden days, because that's when love was in its peak. Like, girls want to be romanced. So if he's not doing that, I'm sorry, but not saying he has to do that on the first date. I think Ethan, like, sets the bar quite high. But it's like, if he's, like, never buying you flowers and thinks they're stupid, then dump that man. Not into it. I just think if something matters to you and he refuses to compromise, like, what else is he going to refuse to compromise on or think is stupid? Do you know what I mean? If it matters to you, it matters, babe. Okay. My third rule is when you're trying to express yourself and he views it as arguing. Before I make this point, I just want to say, like, when you're discussing something that upsets you with your partner, like, you should always be calm when you convey your feelings. So take like a deep breath before you say what you want to say. Like, try not to be reactive in the moment and like lose your temper, because I think when you lose your temper, like, that's when you're kind of like both in the wrong. Don't get me wrong, like if you're being pushed to the limit and you accidentally lose your temper, like I don't really think that's your fault. Like if you're being pushed to your limit, you're being pushed to your limit. But I think in situations where you're trying to resolve conflict and like trying to express that something's hurt your feelings, like I think the best thing you can do is just take a deep breath, or take even like a day if you need to, and then address it where you're going to have a clear mind and you can get your point across like effectively. Just like take some space before you're approaching the conversation. But when you're doing that and he still views that as arguing, I'm sorry, how is that arguing? No, who's that? This dumbass. It is not arguing to say how you feel, because that is how you feel. If he reads your tone as like aggressive or as like a personal attack, when you're literally just trying to say like what's upset you, or like something that's happening in the relationship that you're not enjoying, like that is just like child behavior. Like that is not grown man behavior. I just think he just doesn't care about your feelings at all, and he has like no regard for things that upset you. Like I can't imagine having a friend even, or literally anyone, and they're trying to express to me that they're upset, and the first thing I do is like kick off because they're arguing with me. I just can't even like fathom that. And it's because unless they're being like way too much and just like screaming at you, then you're like, fuck hell. But when it's literally just them trying to say like, hey, like this is like really bothering me, like, you know, I really wanted to come to you about this and resolve this, like that is normal, that is healthy. You should be able to come to your partner and tell them stuff that's upsetting you. Otherwise it just festers, and then it keeps building and building and building, and next thing you have like 15 different things that have bothered you over time, and then it'll be the small thing that tips you over the edge and you end up breaking up. Girls, you literally know what I'm talking about when I say this, like the straw that breaks the camel's back. And then they'll say, oh, they broke up with me for something so small, when in actuality, is that a word? In actuality, it's because you've literally said a million times, and you've said it in a nice way, and they always just view it as like hostile or arguing, when you're literally just trying to say how you feel. If he reads everything that you say is arguing, then run. Run, girl. That is not healthy. He perhaps needs therapy. He needs to evaluate himself, and he's clearly not grown enough to have adult conversations. So firstly, check your tone. And I say this because I feel like as women, sometimes we can be a bit too reactive, and shouting and screaming is not going to get you anywhere, let me tell you. And this, I think this goes for anything in life. Like if you really want someone to listen to you, you need to approach them in a way that makes them want to listen to you. So that is some good advice that I recommend that you listen to. People want to hear you out when you're being like nice and calm. So if you're being nice and calm and he's just reading the situation as you arguing, I feel like he is not the one. So dump that man. My boyfriend, like if I was to raise anything to him and say this is upsetting me, like he would never read me being upset as argumentative. Like he listens, he'll like say his bit, I'll say my bit, and then we fix the problem and we move on. And that's that. Like there's no like bringing it up in a few months time, or like having like hostility over an issue. Like the issue was done, the issue was squashed. And if he can't do that with you, then he is not grown. Boo. Lame. Next, my fourth rule on why you should dump that man is if he doesn't compliment you. Now I have some sad lore about this point. My ex-boyfriend would literally never compliment me. I'm actually going to put myself on blast right now, because we're just going to expose everything. I have been there with pretty much all of these points, which is why I'm talking about them. But my ex-boyfriend like couldn't compliment me. Now, at one point, I think I like begged him if he could compliment me, and he told me he couldn't because his brain goes blank when I ask him that. Imagine a gorgeous girl like me and you have literally nothing to say. Are you mad? I could think of 10 compliments for myself right now, but he could not think of one, and I would literally beg him. Like, how embarrassing is that for him and also for me. Like, imagine begging your boyfriend, like, please, can you tell me I'm pretty? And he's like, I literally, the words just cannot form in my brain. Like, such low IQ, such a bad time. But it's like, that's actually so mean. Like, he would frequently insult me, so he could always think of something negative to say about me, but he could never say something positive to me. That's just cruel. Like, that's just straight up mean. You shouldn't be with someone that just finds it so easy to insult you but can't say anything nice to you. I remember I used to like write in my diary and I was like, he does not say anything nice to me. I can't remember the last time he gave me a compliment, and that is so sad. And I'm like so sad for that girl who was trapped in that relationship. So that's why I kind of like share my stories, because if you're in that situation and your partner literally does not say anything nice about you, he does not like love you sincerely. But you need therapy if you cannot say something nice to someone else. Like, I don't care that people are different and whatever, like, I do get that, but at the same time, it's like you actually have something wrong with you in your brain if you can't say something nice to someone else, but you can like say 10 things mean about them in the same breath. So therapy, lots of therapy. That man needs therapy and he needs to be dumped. Because when I went through this, it actually made me think I was like ugly and like not worth anything, and my self-esteem was actually on the floor. I remember I was like hanging out with friends, which was very few and far between when I got with my ex-boyfriend, and I just didn't feel like myself around them. I felt like I couldn't even make conversation with them, which is so unlike me. And I just felt like I had nothing to say, but it's because like throughout that relationship, I'd been like chipped down bit by bit, and I just felt like I had nothing interesting to say. And that's so sad, and it took me so long to find my confidence again. But I did eventually, so there is hope, girls, but you just got to get rid of that man. Like, realize that and realize that fast. Like, think like, when was the last time he said something nice to me? And if it's been a very long time and he doesn't like actively say like, hey, beautiful, good morning, gorgeous, gorgeous girl, like, you have the fattest bunter in the world, love you, queen, then what is going on? My man calls me beautiful 10 times a day. Like, that's the first thing he says when he wakes up. So it's not hard. The bare minimum, quite literally. A man that loves you will just have so many nice things to say to you because he loves you so much. He will think you're gorgeous. He will think you're amazing. He'll have more to say than just your looks. Like, he'll think you're smart. He'll think you're funny. He'll think so many nice things about you. So if you can't think of one thing, then he is a bum. My man literally writes me love letters. He'll buy me like a box of my favorite chocolates. I'll come home from work and they're just laid on the bed and he's written a little love note in there about how much he loves me, and he'll tell me I'm gorgeous all the time. Like, that is what you deserve. Especially if you're like a romantic girl, like, that is 100% what you deserve, and you will find that from someone. You don't need to settle for someone who doesn't give you all those things. Trust me, there is someone out there that will, and maybe you're just looking for it in the wrong people, but you live and you learn. Rule number 5 on why you should date that man. Date that man. Dump that man. Do not date these men who do these things. Okay, he doesn't do things for you. I wrote a list of things that if he doesn't do for you, if he doesn't do these things for you, then you should run away. So number 1, I put he doesn't run you a bath up. These are just examples, by the way. They don't have to be followed, but I put he doesn't run you a bath after a hard day. Like, has your man ever been like, oh, you baby girl, you've just come home, you look like you need like a nice long bath, like, are you tired? Like, if he's like never offered to do something like that for you, dump him. 2, he doesn't make you a coffee when you're tired, or a tea. So you mean that you're exhausted and he doesn't say like, oh babe, like, you look like you need a coffee, like, would you like me to make you a coffee? Goes to put on the kettle and goes to make you that coffee. What do you mean he's never made you a tea or coffee? What do you mean you're the one that's always getting up and doing that? He doesn't baby you when you're unwell. I have so much lore on this as well. I've actually dated people who would like leave me on my own and go out drinking instead of looking after me when I've had like the flu and I've been like vomiting and all that gorgeous things. But if you're unwell and you're still like slaving away and doing things for him even, dump that man. He won't drive you anywhere. if he can drive and you need like a ride somewhere, like I don't actually drive, so I need a ride. I need a ride everywhere, but my man would do that for me. But you know, even if you can drive, but you just need assistance with something and he doesn't like offer, like, you know what, let me drive you somewhere. Dump that man. Don't like that either. One of my ex-boyfriends wouldn't come and pick me up, I think, from Bristol, which is like an hour away. And I think I'd literally been traveling, I can't remember where from now, but it was like a 5 hour like journey. I can't remember where I was, but I was like, can you please pick me up on this last leg, because the train, I think there was no trains running on that last bit from Bristol to Cardiff, and I had to get a bus. And he said no. I don't remember what the context was, but there was just many times where like I actually like needed help, or it would just help so much to like have someone come get me, and he would refuse. And I just think when you love someone, like if I could drive, I would drive people places. Like 100% I would drive my boyfriend places. Like sometimes I wish I could drive so I could drive him around a bit, but unfortunately I don't drive because... Why don't I drive? I don't drive because... I'm a girl. I'm just a girl, and I just don't see that in my future. I just don't. I have no drive to drive. I just don't care about driving. I am so used to getting the train everywhere, and even though it's not the best in this country, I will just do that anyway. I don't really like being in a car, to be honest. I get quite anxious being in a car, so I'd hate to be the one in the driver's seat. I know that's such a weird thing to think in this day and age, because literally everyone drives, but it's just not for me, unfortunately. I just get Ubers and get a train everywhere. So if you see me on the train, that is me. He doesn't tidy up, ever. Like, he doesn't tidy up anything. What do you think will happen when you have kids? What do you think will happen if he never cleans up and then you have kids? Oh yes, you'll be cleaning up for him, for you, and then also the kids. That sounds fun. That sounds like a good time, right? No, that sounds awful. Like, what do you mean he can't pick up his clothes? Seriously, like, I feel like I've met some men that literally can't do anything for themselves. Like, I had another boyfriend, and his mum would literally come over his house and like clean his house for him. Imagine that. Imagine that. That is such an ick. But if he can't clean up anything, or like doesn't offer to like help out with housework, like if he doesn't offer to hoover, if he doesn't even know how to work the hoover, what do you expect to happen when you have kids? Now, these are the type of things I was like, just that came to mind when I thought, when he doesn't do things for you, but they're just like small acts that over time like make such a difference in a relationship, because there's two people in this relationship. Like, if you're the person that's always doing everything, then that will wear you down over time. I like my man to do things for me. I love him to do things for me. Like, I hate phone calls, and he will make phone calls on my behalf because he knows I hate that. Like, he will just sort that for me. It will be sorted. I won't even need to even think about it for a second. Like, he just sorts things for me, and that just is such a weight off. Like, now I actually don't know what I would do without my man, because I feel like we complement each other so well. He does things for me. I do things for him. Like, I cook him every single meal, and he knows that he is always getting a home-cooked meal cooked from scratch, and he will make those phone calls for me and do things for me that I struggle with. So it's like, and drive me around. So it's like, it works, and we like balance each other out perfectly. And it's like, this is a team when you're in a relationship, and it starts from the beginning. So if he doesn't do all these things, when is he going to do those things? Okay? I would hate to be with a man who does not do acts of love for me. I think that's lame. No matter how independent you are as a woman, I don't think it matters, because you still need someone who does things for you sometimes. Period. Rule number 6 on why you should date that man. He doesn't care when you cry. Is he a psychopath? Is he a villain from a superhero movie? What do you mean he doesn't care when you cry? You cry in front of him, he doesn't give an F? A flying F? That's crazy. I wouldn't even do that to my friends or my worst enemy. Unless, I think if someone's showing emotion in front of you and they're crying and they're in a fragile state of mind, and you literally can't feel any sort of empathy, like there is actually something psychologically wrong with you. And I know these rules seem actually a bit crazy to say, and I think some people will look at this and be like, but aren't these like human things like that you should be doing? Yes, but some people need to hear this because they don't hear this, and this being people being me of the past. I wish I could literally teleport into the past and tell myself all of these things. I would cry in front of a few of my exes, and they just like wouldn't feel anything towards me crying. And that is insane. I remember like crying myself to sleep like every single night when I was with my ex-boyfriend, and I just knew he could hear me crying, and he just like didn't care. That is insanity. What do you mean? You're a psychopath. And like if you tell him you've been crying and he doesn't care either, I just think that is psychopath too. Like if I was to text my boyfriend and I was like, oh, I've been crying, he'd be like, you'd literally go to the bathroom and wake and call me and make sure I was okay. Like that is just a normal thing to do when someone cares about you. So this may seem stupid, but there is a girl out there who might be watching this, or it might be a friend of yours, and she cries in front of her boyfriend and he doesn't react. Dump that man! Dump that man. That man does not love you. That man does not care about you, even on a human level. Why would you want to be with him? What happens when you have kids? This was a big thing that I realized before I dated my current boyfriend, was I realized that like I did want to have kids in the future, and what was going to happen when I had kids and I'd gone for a guy who like literally did not care about me. What was going to happen? Oh, they're not going to care about my kids, are they? No, they're not going to be a good dad. I think it's really important that like, especially if you want kids, like choose someone who's going to be a good dad. That is the best advice I can ever give you. And I feel like once I learned that, I found that. And I found that straight away. So you got to change your type and look for someone who is loving and caring and would do anything for you and would do anything for your kids. Win. Rule number 7 on why you should dump that man. He gives you no reason to trust him. This one is to validate all my partially crazy queens out there, but also not to validate you at the same time. So we're gonna go on a journey with this point, but if he hides his phone, like actively hides his phone, like does a lot of this, like, ooh, or it's like, don't go on my phone, snatches the phone out of your hand, like, will not even give you the phone to make, if he's like needs to use his phone for something, or like text someone when he's driving and you're like, oh, I'll do it, I can do it for you, and he's like, no, and he gets like defensive. Why is that? He's not giving you a reason to trust him there. If he engages with loads of girls on social media, raising my eyebrow, is he single? So you're dating him and he's single. Interesting. I feel like a guy that's like into you and only you will make that very apparent. And if he's not fully into you, he will kind of present himself as still single. So if he's like liking loads of girls' posts on Instagram, like, you know, girls that he, and I don't want to get too crazy with this point because I know some girls go way too far with this. And I really want to home in on the fact that like, you should know, you shouldn't need to like stalk his Instagram and find this out on your own. Like you should already know because that is what he's presenting to you. So like I have never gone through my boyfriend's phone. I will never go through my boyfriend's phone. I don't look at his likes. I don't look at who he follows, and I never would because I know he's only into me. And since being together, all he's done is unfollow girls that he used to follow just because, I don't know, they were like pretty girls or like mutual friends that he thought maybe something would happen with, or like, I don't know, just like girls he maybe saw on Tinder or stuff like that. I don't even know if he had Tinder. Maybe he did, and I assume maybe. Did he have Tinder? I don't know. But it's just like girls over the years, like he will just unfollow them because he doesn't see any point in following them. And he's most definitely not engaging and like liking all of their posts. If your man is literally liking every single girl's post that's single and like posting bikini pics, honey, like he is also single. I just think he has like intention of like making a plan for when you break up. So if you were to break up, he has like a backup. So yeah, I just don't feel like he's fully into you. And like, why are you putting yourself in that situation? Don't get mad. Don't confront him. Just dump him. Date someone who's actually into you. You can't change him. You can't get mad at him and shout at him and tell him, you need to do this and that. You know, you can have a conversation and be like, hey, like, I've noticed you engage a lot with girls. Like, you know, why is that? And if he's defensive or if he just carries on, then honey, he's single in his mind. Like, he is not into you. So get out of that situation. You don't want to be with someone like that. If it looks like you don't exist on his social media, now, I'm not personally one for sharing too much about my relationship online. I share the odd thing here and there, but like, you know, I have a boyfriend, but it's not super obvious. Like, every post isn't my boyfriend. You know, I'm not super obvious about him online, and that's because like my relationship was private to me. I want people to know that I'm in a relationship, but I don't want my relationship to be public, so I'm like quite cautious with that. But if you literally don't exist, like if your Instagram you have like 3 photos of him and you go on his and he like actively posts or posts like even like once a month and there's not one photo of you, not even in like a dump, honey, he's still single in his mind. I just think you're clearly not as involved in his life as you think you are, and that's sad. Like, you deserve someone who wants to show you off. My boyfriend's Instagram is actually just a feed of me, and I think it's really cute. But, you know, like, I don't ask him to do that. He just does it because he wants to. But it's like, you know, if your boyfriend's with you and he's about you and only you, you will be on his profile. Like, what do you mean? He's never posted a story of you either? Like, you tag him and stuff and he doesn't even repost it? Dump that man, dump that man, dump that man. I hate that for you. You shouldn't, you deserve more. I get privacy. I like my privacy. I'm very funny with my privacy when it comes to like my relationships, but that's privacy too much in my opinion. But you know, everyone's different. This might not work for everyone, but that is just my opinion. So you're not crazy, girl. Unless you are, then you are. But sometimes we're not crazy, okay? And I just think there's no point arguing with someone about Instagram likes if they want to do that. Let them be single. He's not worth it. Like, what do you mean? Ew. Ick. Rule number 8 on why you should dump that man is you don't recognize yourself. And this is one's hitting home for me. Like I said earlier, like, I changed over time and I like wasn't the person that I was before I got with my ex-boyfriend. And I'd like noticed that I'd like changed. Like, I was more timid. I didn't like going out anymore. Like, I didn't like hanging out with my friends. My eating habits changed. Like, you never feel pretty. Like, I was the skinniest I've ever been in so long with my ex-boyfriend. I was so skinny. And it's because like he would make me feel bad about things that I ate. Like, he was like really funny about sugar and he would like mock me. Like, I literally had low sugar snacks that I would eat. I still eat these snacks. I love it. But I would have like these like Serene bars that are like literally like this big. They're tiny little things. They have barely any calories in it. But he was like, oh, you're just like eating sugar. And that's because I like sweet treats. So I tried to like eat like low calorie sweet treats. I'm not flipping demolishing like 20 donuts a day. But that was like my medium personally. And he would like make fun of that. And I felt like I shouldn't eat them because of that. He was just, to be fair, he was like very on it for himself and his diet. But he definitely projected a lot of that on me. And I felt like I needed to be like much healthier and like eat much less when I was with him. So I like lost a lot of weight whilst I was with him, but I just like noticed I changed and I like didn't recognize myself. Like, I was so timid. And I think once that happens, like, you need to realize where the root of that is coming from and like, who is that coming from? Is someone putting you down so much like you don't recognize yourself anymore? Is that really worth it? Like, is that relationship worth it? Because, honey, I don't think it is. Like, we have one life, and I think you should just be the best version of yourself and the most confident version of yourself every single day. Like, we always realize too late that we should have had, like, more confidence and been ourselves more. So realize that and think, like, is it coming from that person? Because you won't notice it straight away. I definitely would now because I've like learned over time, but I wouldn't notice these things. But it's because I genuinely like deep down didn't think I was like amounting to very much, so it was like very easy to knock me down. Whereas like now, honey, there is no knocking me down off this pedestal that I put myself on. I see myself as up here, and it's because I am stunning, gorgeous, slay, lovely girl. 10 out of 10 on TripAdvisor. You should always feel that way about yourself. So if someone makes you feel the opposite, dump that man. Number 9, he's not making sacrifices. So He refuses to change. He has bad habits that impact you. He doesn't think of you when making decisions. I'm not saying that like someone needs to like change for you, but I think people like grow and change when you're together. So if he's like refusing to like give certain things up, then I don't think he's like ready to be in a relationship with you. Like I said, like bad habits. Like I've dated people who are like addicted to drugs or like addicted to alcohol or like had a lot of problems, and there was like no care for me in that equation. Now this is a tricky one because I think like addiction is a disease, and it's like really sad if you've ever like struggled with addiction. Like I've struggled with my own addiction problems in the past, so like I completely understand that, but at the same time it's like you shouldn't be in a relationship with me then, and you've got to let me go. So to like continue that relationship and just be like such a mess, I think it's like sad on both sides. I think it's sad for the person who's going through it, and I think it's sad for the person who has to be in a relationship with that person. It's like genuinely heartbreaking. So if they're like refusing to like get any help or like better their lives, then like you need to split up with that person. And even though that's like really difficult, you can't like sacrifice your entire life for someone who wouldn't do the same for you. Like even if it's just like bad habits that like obviously aren't that extreme, but me going to the most extreme because I have so much lore. I have so much lore. But it can be like just small things like, I don't know, like know that every time they drink they get really angry and they refuse to change that habit, and it might only happen once a month, but like once a month is enough if they're constantly like screaming at you when they're drunk. Like that's not fair. So if they refuse to change, then they're just not the person for you. Especially if you are like adaptable and you want to change for them because you love them so much, then that's just not the person for you. If he doesn't think of you making decisions as well, like if he like makes a decision and it like literally impacts you because you're in a relationship, then he doesn't care about you like deep down. Like my ex would do this all the time. Like he literally would not think of me in any decision he made. Like I was like the last thought in his brain, and it's because you're still single in your mind. I think when you're with someone, it's like such a sacrifice to be in a relationship with someone because you're giving up so much. Like you really need to think of that person in like every decision you make, and if you're not willing to do that or you don't do that at all, then you should dump that man. Not about that. I think that just chips away at you over time. So hate that for you, girl. I hate that for you. 10, he thinks your interests and hobby are stupid. Right? Nothing in life that makes you happy is stupid. They're stupid. They're the stupid one. You shouldn't be put down for like things that you like. And once again, my ex is actually the main topic of this podcast today. I've had so many like actually exes. So when I say my ex, I am referring to multiple, but like I have mentioned one many times. Hate that guy. Absolutely hate that guy. He would put me down for like things that I liked. Like I remember we were together, like I never watched anything I liked on TV or like listened to my own music because he just made me feel like my interest in music was like bad, or like things that I like were bad. Like we wouldn't watch anything on TV unless he wanted to watch it, and he'd only want to watch like a documentary. Like anything I liked, like cartoons or something, he thought was really stupid. So I ended up like not doing anything that I liked for like a whole year. And that is actually the most insane thing. Like when we broke up, I had to like relearn things that I liked and like interests that I had because I'd like forgotten what I even liked. Nothing that makes you happy is stupid. You can have an interest and it might seem like cheesy or cringy, but that is something you enjoy, and no one should make you feel stupid for that. Like that is something that you like. So what do you mean someone's making you feel stupid for that? Like you go do that hobby. Like you watch that movie if you like that movie. Like you should be able to express yourself in the things that you like and the things you do. Dump that man. Rule number 11 on why you should dump that man is he doesn't make your birthday special. Once again, we're going back to the ex in this one again, but your birthday is the one day of the year that is literally about you. Like, your birthday is so important. Your birthday is that one day that's about you, right? So if he couldn't care less or makes it about him, then dump that man. Dump that man, because he's never going to make you feel special on your birthday. And I just think like it's just so important to make someone feel nice on their birthday. Now let me give you some like crazy lore. My ex-boyfriend drank too much, so I had like a birthday night out. It wasn't really that planned. I didn't really have like many friends at the time, but I like had invited like a few people, like, you know, come meet me like here and we'll like do this. And he just got like super, super drunk, and I ended up leaving my birthday at like midnight. He was sick on me. I had to carry him out of the bar. He was sick all over the floor. I had to put him into bed. And the next day, he like quite literally refused to get out of bed all day because he was too hungover. And that was the day of my actual birthday. And he never made me like a happy birthday post on Instagram, like didn't do anything, like barely said happy birthday to me. And I remember I just sat there like in my living room, like waiting for him to feel better. And I didn't plan anything with my friends because I was like waiting for him to come out and feel better, and he just never felt better. So I just ended up like crying all day on my birthday and feeling like really alone. And oh God, it was just like the worst experience ever. And I just think no one deserves that. Like no one deserves to like not have like breakfast made for them on their birthday and have like a card and have like a bunch of gifts and like go for a nice meal or like just do something nice for your birthday. And like if he wanted to, he would. And if he's not, then you need to dump him. Period. Like, why would you put up with that? Why would I put up with that? Why would I put up with that? But it's like, we accept the love we think we deserve. What is that from? Is it Pigs Being a Wallflower? I feel like it is. But that is, if you think you deserve that, then that is what you'll get. So you don't deserve that. You deserve to be showered with love and affection. So if he's not giving, if he's not stepping up to the plate, then get rid of that man. Dump that man. Realize what your priorities are in a partner. Like physically make a list of things that you want and don't want. And does your man meet that list? Now, I'm not saying everyone's perfect, like they're not. But if like the bad like significantly outweighs the good, then like why are you wasting your time? And why are you wasting time with someone that isn't giving you what you deserve? Like it doesn't matter how old you are. You deserve to be treated right. Don't be afraid to like take a step and make that change. Also, like take your time, because we don't all realize things at the same time. Like you might be with someone for 3 months and decide that they don't treat you very nice, and then you might be with someone for a year and they don't treat you very nice, or 3 years, 5 years, but it might just take you longer to realize, because once again, you accept the love you think you deserve. Like you literally think you deserve how you're being treated. So there's no rush. Like I literally had a friend that dated a bum for years, and it was like very obvious to me, but it's because I was an outsider. So like she would do all the housework, she would pay for everything, whilst he would like never take her on dates or make her feel special, never buy her flowers. So she was basically his mum. Okay, rule number 12 of why you should dump that man, I'm adding another rule, is he replaces his mum with you. You are not his mother. He clearly needs to go home to his mother if he still needs a mother at that big old age. I just think that is my version of hell. And I have also dated a guy. I've also been in a relationship with this exact type of person, and it's like it actually wears you down so much. And like, why would you want to be intimate with that person? Or like, why would you want to like feel any type of loving way towards that person when they don't actively do anything for you? Like, what do you mean you're paying for everything and you're doing the housework and you cook and you do X, Y, and Z? Like, that is so draining. Now, I know some like women are like the breadwinners or like whatever, and every relationship is different. Like some men might stay at home and like look after the kids, but like it needs to be equal playing field. Like one person can't be doing everything, because then you're just a parent, you're someone's parent, and that's just bum ass behavior. I hate that. So if you think you're in a relationship like that, get out of there. Because like I said, like think about the future. Like think about how that's going to end, and it's not going to end good either way. We all take our time. And it might be difficult to leave. But if he's made you into his mum, where's the romance in that? Like that is going to die a very slow and painful death over time. So there is no point in keeping that going. Oh, but they've been together for 3 years, so like how can she leave now? And it's like, just because you've been together for 3 years doesn't mean that is the right relationship for you. Like, do you want to be in that relationship for another 3 years? Like, do you want to be miserable for another 10 years? Like, you deserve so much better, and you should realize that sooner than later. And it doesn't matter if it's been 10 years. Like, Who cares about 10 years when someone's treating you like a piece of garbage? Like you're a garbage rat. You're more than a garbage rat. You're a slay queen. You're a slay queen who deserves better. So, yeah. I mean, I know it sucks to be like, oh, we were together for this long and then we broke up. But, like, wouldn't you rather, like, find someone who is nice to you and you end up being together for 30 years? Doesn't that sound like a much better situation than wasting another year with someone who doesn't care about you? Reality check. Just saying. Okay, you're conditioned to believe that's how you deserve to be treated, and that's the reality of it. So if you've been together for that long and you're putting up with all this BS, it's because you're literally conditioned to think that way. Oh my god, I can't stop doing this. It feels fun. You need to be ready to leave, and when you're ready to leave, like, find a way out of there, but make sure you have support. You know, if you've been isolated for a long time, it is especially hard to leave. But remember that people do care about you even if they haven't heard from you for a very long time. And they want to help you, and they want to help you get out of that darn awful situation. So, yeah, there are people there waiting with open arms that have been waiting for you this whole time to come and support you. So let them help you. Like, if you have family, you'll have some type of friends. And even if you don't, like, you can do this on your own. So I believe in you. I believe you've got this. Like, I have a friend that literally had to move, like, halfway across the country after breaking up with her partner. And, like, she ended up being so isolated where she was because she moved near to where he lived and his family lived, and, like, so far away from where she lived and her family lived. So it was like starting all over again by moving. But, like, she has never been happier or more glowing and slaying than now, and she's, like, achieving so much, and it's stuff I knew she was always capable of, and she is so amazing, and I'm so glad that she, like, believes it now, and I just know she'd never settle for any of that BS ever again. So it's like, once you're ready, you will be ready, and you can go and you can restart and you can seriously slay. So yeah, that is today's episode. I would love to hear from you guys. So I feel like I should have mentioned this at the start of the podcast, but I have an email if you want to write in a question, or you'd like some advice on something, and I will answer your advice. This episode is pre-filmed, so I haven't actually uploaded any of my episodes yet to my channel as I'm filming this right now, but yeah, I will get to your questions and advice in the email once this is up, and hopefully I get some people writing in. So if you're watching this and you want some advice, let me know and I will answer it as part of a video. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. I'm hoping my next video will be less of a bummer. I feel like this has been kind of depressing at times, but yeah, hopefully I'll keep it lighthearted. I don't really know what the direction is of this podcast. So far, it's literally just me preaching at you, but I feel like I have so much just life experience to give, so that is where I'm at. I was feeling inspired because I just was listening to stories in the last week of, like, bum-ass men, and I was like, I have so much to say about bum-ass men, and I was ready to say my bit. So yeah, that's why today's podcast was on bum-ass men and why you should dump them. In the future, let me know what kind of things you want to watch. Like, is this interesting to you, or is it, like, too preachy? Like, do we want more lighthearted content? I was gonna maybe make a video on like a podcast about, like, celebrity beauty hacks that you might not know about, but, like, are a game changer. So if you want to know about something like that, then let me know. But yeah, we'll see where this podcast goes. But thank you for watching Bimbo Horror. I hope you liked this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and join the Bimbo Horror family. Okay, bye, my gorgeous divas. Look at my man. He's just sorting out the laundry. I did end the podcast, but I've just come back to show you this laundry that he has done. Babe, come and show the podcast how much you love me. That's a forced love. Hey.
Aw.
And my man. Thank you to my man. And my man. Thank you to my man.
Oh, I missed you.
Missed your babe. He just came home and said he was really sad because he had to go to work instead of being with me all day.
I think it's because we had such a romantic weekend
We did.
for Valentine's Day.
It was wonderful, wasn't it?
No, I got the sniffles.
Oh.
To my man.
Thank you to my man. He did just kill the vines by bringing the washing in here, however, but we'll allow it because at least he does the washing. So the washing gets done in this house by Ethan. Larry out. Once again, peace.